2, 1. Ignition and liftoff of Ares 1X. Testing concepts for the future of new rocket design.
I'll just start talking.
Yes,
because why not? So welcome to this. It's our reality TV edition. This is the ultimate pulp culture challenge. I am your host, Jaemeel Robinson, and we have some awesome new debates this month. So, as you know with the concept, each episode, our panelists will be judged and scored on their arguments for facts, passion, and creativity. Our panelists are Dave Mater.
Hi.
Hi.
I came here to
You
play.
can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Jeff Mater as contestant number 2.
I hear you too, Jaemeel, loud and clear. T minus. Everyone's going to get beat.
Yes. And last but certainly not least, Jeff Foster.
Woo! It's John. That's okay, Jaemeel. Woo!
Okay, so how the show works, you might be asking. There are 6 rounds plus a speed round by our 2 top panelists. Now, we'll be talking about movies, television, music, sports, history, and the wild card question. Now, we want people to be passionate and not personally be mean to one another or as much as they possibly can.
I
Now-
only can do it so much. I can only possibly do it so much.
You could only well, it might get a little dicey here. Now, you can keep in mind you can also skip to a new debate by looking at the time indexes in the description and going to the battles that you are interested the most. So, one extra piece of information for this game, especially with the wild card question. All of the contestants have been notified that if the answers provided and the debates provided are not acceptable, no one will be getting any points for the wildcard round. So I expect a top tier debate, right? I wanted people to keep it clean, but I also want people to be passionate. All right. So let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Okay. So we're starting off with movies with our first question. What is the best movie that uses reality TV in its storytelling? Now, before we start, people are going to ask this question. What do you mean by best, Jaemeel? Right?
Yes.
Right? It is exactly how the question is written. What is the best movie that uses reality TV in its storytelling? Okay? So, it is the combination of what is the best plus who does it the best.
Now, Jaemeel, just before we jump in,
Yes.
I just, there might be somebody in the chat waiting for something. What could it
You
be?
are correct. But who could that be? Let's
Could-
look over to the chat. I usually am running the chat, so
But
I
I-
apologize to all of our chat watchers, right? I apologize because often I'm always there typing away, responding to people in the chat. So, for those who are listening to the audio only version or listening to on YouTube afterwards, please keep in mind when we are live so you can interact and join with us during the proceedings. Looking over, I do see my man Sam has some messages,
Yes.
right? One of them is let's go. Now, what is he referring to in terms of us going? Right?
Let's
Hmm.
go.
Let's go. Let's go to the mall? No, that's not
No.
it. Let's Go by Richie Valens? No.
That's a good one.
Any suggestions, panelists?
It might be it might end with "and many more."
And many more. Tacos and many more?
Yeah, maybe it's
Well, sign me
tacos.
up for tacos.
Yes. Well, before we get into this question, very long intro, I would like to personally thank Sam for his support. And I know this feeling is felt by most of the individuals from the United Federation of the podcast, with the exception of Jody. Jody has no love, for you, Sam. I'm sorry news to you. You'll have to take it up with him.
Yeah.
I've tried I tried talking to him about it. But regardless, Sam, have a merry, merry, merry Christmas, right? I hope you enjoy the holidays. Keep being you. Is that it?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
we can play.
no. Sam, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Sam.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Julian.
Sam.
Happy birthday to you.
And many, many more.
All right, Sam, my man, leader of the Ellie Corps, right?
Yeah. The Ellie Corps.
Have a special day. But
Let's get back
that
to
was
movies.
a celebration. These three gentlemen, only one of them will be celebrating and get the fruits of victory.
True.
So let's begin. Who's our first contestant? Let's go.
Whoever you want.
We'll do it in order of appearance. Dave, proceed.
Okay. So the movie I'm going with today is a film known as The Hunger Games from 2012, featuring an actor you might know, an actress, Jennifer Lawrence, also known as J. Law, she's known as. Now, where she plays Katniss Everdeen, who is from District 12, who sacrifices herself to go into the Hunger Games, a reality TV show that the Capitol puts on to punish the districts in this futuristic dystopia where for a rebellion many years earlier, where two kids from each district have to go into like this free-for-all battle royale style fight. And all of the Capitol watches it, and it's put on spectacle, and they watch 11 kids die until one is crowned the champion. And the Hunger Games, I think, is it's in this dystopia, but it really has a lot of connections when you compare it to shows like Big Brother and other reality TV shows, where the audience can get attached to these players and will come to support them. You see in the Hunger Games that.
Thank you very much, Dave, for your opening remarks.
You're welcome.
We're moving on to Mr. Foster. You have a minute. Please proceed with your debate.
Oh, geez, a minute, eh? Okay, well, this is okay. Well, I'm going off the board here with this one. May not be obvious to a lot of people, but I'm going to go, first of all, with how reality TV is defined. And it's a TV program in which real people are continuously filmed for entertainment rather than informative. Now, my movie of choice is Saw 2, which is a kind of off-the-board choice. But instead of entertainment, it's more of a sadistic entertainment from the view of the antagonist or Jigsaw, if you will. And throughout the movie, the characters in the movie are stuck in a house, have to get out alive, and they are being viewed by the antagonist Jigsaw, as well as the cops who are trying to figure out where they are being hidden. Or captured, and trying to interrogate the villain throughout the movie while this is
Thank
going
you
on.
very much, Foster. Everyone will get a chance to debate in the free-for-all, but this is just opening remarks. Last but not least, go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, I picked The Truman Show. The reason why I picked The Truman Show, it's more sadistic than both Saw 2 and Hunger Games put together. It's a kid is born of an unwanted pregnancy, and some sicko named Christoph, played by Ed Harris, thinks it'd be a good idea to film this kid's entire life until he kind of maybe figures it out. But we're going to throw every roadblock in his way so he doesn't figure it out. And then we're going to convince him his dad died, and have him show up as a homeless guy and just totally screw with his head. It's really kind of sadistic throughout this whole show. And it's a great depiction of what reality TV kind of has become, because a lot of, especially kids, don't really have the choice of being televised to the whole world.
Okay, you're conceding your last 20 seconds. We'll open it up to the main debate, right? Go ahead, fight. You have 4 minutes.
Okay, I'll start. Hunger Games, barely a reality TV show, more of like an event. More like a sporting program, more like a Super Bowl, not really reality TV in my opinion. Saw 2, same thing. It's more of like a crime thing. It's not really a reality TV in my opinion. Whereas my show, The Truman Show, is definitely reality TV. So that's my.
Well, I don't think it's any more reality TV than The Hunger Games. I think The Hunger Games is very much in that reality TV where the stakes are life and death.
Yeah, it's sport.
Well, you could argue the same thing for Saw 2, right? And I think also with it too is that it's forced. It's no one's willing to go. Yeah, like the Hunger Games, you could argue, yeah, they don't, and Truman Show, they're not like willingly going on these shows, but just like, Hunger Games, life and death, and they're put into situations that normal people wouldn't be put into.
Fair enough, but Saw 2 is not a better movie than The Hunger Games or The Truman Show, I would say.
It doesn't have as many big actors, I'll say that, but I think that the twists and turns definitely define it over the other two movies.
It's got Donnie Wahlberg, Dave. How dare you? The Truman Show is a really well-written movie. It's got so many great metaphors to not only what the time period it was made in, but what would come. Like reality TV defines kind of our TV watching today. It's on every channel, and I think the Truman Show kind of was like a precursor to that in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but the Truman Show is unbelievable in so many other ways. This idea that a corporation could adopt a person, and it doesn't feel like real life. It feels very disconnected. Whereas the Hunger Games, because it's set in this futuristic reality where that all this untold history has taken place, that you can suspend that disbelief and you can sort of go along with the concept, I think, easier than the Truman Show, especially in retrospect, because that movie does feel dated because it's kind of pre-internet and so it kind of lacks a little bit of a common day or a present day sort of context in some respects. But I think that the Hunger Games, huge blockbuster film, spawned an entire franchise of films, and it is based on a great literary work. The whole Mockingjay series.
The Hunger Games, though, is not like an original idea. Like Jaemeel knows very well. There's a plethora of kill game type movies, and most of them are much better than the Hunger Games. Hunger Games is really, at the end of the day, at the crux of what it's about. It's about PETA and J-Law getting together. That's really what I watch all three of those movies. That's what it's about.
That was the greatest reality show because it was the romance, and then they couldn't kill them because of the berries at the end. It's like very memorable.
The beauty of Saw is that it doesn't just focus on one or two characters like the other movies. With Saw, they are interrogating a cop who they've captured his son. There was a returning player from previous movie that has survived the game, so they know what they're doing. Like all the characters have their own different backstories. So there's a lot more going on. You're more invested in terms of who's doing what, who wants to do this, who's surviving, who's making the good choices, who's making the bad choices. And it's a roller coaster from beginning to end. You can't just follow one person. That's what's great about the Saw movie.
I'm just confused about how
warning.
I'm just confused how Saw is a reality TV and how that's used in its storytelling. I don't
Saw
get it.
2 it is.
In this specific movie, they are all filmed in this house trying to escape through the traps, and the cops and the antagonist are watching them do it the whole time. There's some pretty cool twists at the end that I'm not going to ruin for everyone.
Gotcha.
But
in the Hunger Games, it's all about how it's the show. They have to put the whole show on. You see it from the producer's point of view. You see it from the contestants, and they use the game against them. They hack the game, the contestants.
So we've had our 4 minutes of debates. Now, the way it stands, Jeff
Yes.
is not the winner.
Okay.
Neither is Dave. Neither is Josh.
What?
Oh.
I need 1 point from each person to wrap up their whole thesis of their debate. Go ahead.
Okay. Can I go first?
You can go first.
I would say if you're the question is, what is the best movie that uses reality TV in its storytelling? And I think by far it's The Truman Show. The whole story is based off reality TV and convincing this one guy that he lives in a real world, but he doesn't. He has to break out of that reality. And so that's the whole purpose of the movie.
Well, my issue with the Truman Show for me is that
So you're starting your final thoughts. Okay, go ahead.
I am. If you're okay, I'm gonna go. So my final thoughts is I just off the Truman Show, like the whole movie ends when he walks out of the show, and you don't even get to see what happens after that. That's where the story should have been. That's where the disappointment is. But when coming back to Hunger Games sets up this whole new narrative, this revolution, and it's a great storytelling in terms of like the contestants and the people kind of figuring out how to use the villains reality the zoo aspect, or like the lab rat kind of effect to their advantage.
Okay, give me 10 seconds, Jaemeel, so I can finish my
Go
part.
ahead.
So mine shows two sides of the human mind while they're watching. You know, the cops are empathetic and concerned for the victims, while Jigsaw, the killer or the antagonist, is calm and seemingly in control the whole time. So you don't know who's in control until the very end of the movie.
Okay. All right. So a couple things I got to clean up here in the regards. Not much commentary about the best aspect of said movies, with the exception of Jeff. I was hoping that I was going to hear a lot more regarding that, because I think highly of all the shows that were mentioned, all the movies that were mentioned. Two, not many hitbacks for Jeff as well, but Dave did a great job in terms of detailing and explaining the world and how it is connected to other examples of reality television. Jeff, I expected you to talk about the reflections in a lot of the live streaming that has become very popular, where people's lives are being followed online, right? So I was expecting that. Foster, man, you need to talk more. Step in. Do not let them railroad you. And you were silent for majority of the debate.
Well, this is my least confident answer, so I think we'll pick it up from here. Don't worry, Jaemeel.
Well, even fake it till you make it. So even that response does not, it kind of justifies where I feel I was in the response. So in my breakdown, Jeff actually takes the point. Even though Dave had more points provided, he also had more knocks against him. So that's Jeff gets the point. So Dave, feel confident in the fact that you did a good job in terms of debating, but unfortunately you did not rebut a lot of the knocks against your point.
All right.
I'll
rebut more.
Okay. Foster, I need more from you. Okay. I'm
just plain and simple.
laying it out.
Not enough. Not even close. It's okay.
I'm
Quite frankly, this is going to take some more here.
Okay. I'm laying it out here, and I want to lay the groundwork of how this today is going to go, because I don't want people to complain afterwards about it wasn't fair, right? Okay, we're doing this. All right. Is Murph? Are you producing or is not?
He's producing. All right, we're ready for the next round. Let's do
okay.
TV.
All right. Next one is TV. Who is the best Big Brother player of all time? Of all time. Foster, you were starting off first. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with a classic from the earlier seasons, or middle seasons, if you will. Dan Giesling, you know, winner of Big Brother 10 with the 7-0 unanimous vote. Big Brother 14 runner-up, so pretty much, you know, right to the end for both seasons. There's a lot more detail I'm going to go into, obviously, with this one. Superb puppet master manipulating the votes the way he wanted, usually able to get others on his side regardless of his actions and evict others. And overall, just too likable of a player, too likable by contestants and too likable by the audience.
Okay, you're conceding your time. So you have Dan Gleesling as your pick. We're moving on to the next contestant, which would be Jeff. Jeff, go ahead.
I went with the greatest of all time, Dr. Will. You know, he famously said, when you're asking who the greatest of all time is in Big Brother, does Michael Jordan say he's the best of all time? No, everyone just kind of knows. It's Dr. Will. It's not even close. You have a guy that, well, he won season 2, but that's not why he was great. The reason, it was all his strategy. He broke the game in a lot of ways, because what he did was he completely threw all competitions. He understood that the game was a social game, and if he got people to turn on each other, that was the best way to get to the end of the game. It was really just the survival of the fittest, and the best way to do that is to make yourself non-threatening and get everyone to eat each other, and then you end up at the end. He played again in All-Stars, and then he got to third, and the only reason he went home was the best competition player of all time, Janelle, took him out on a single vote. So this is the prowess of a player like a Dr. Will that really shows that he's the best of all time. He came back to do all the panels. Everyone knew that he was the most knowledgeable. He was also the most entertaining. There's no one more entertaining than Dr. Will on the show. He invented so many things in reality TV, including the term showmance and all the diary rooms.
Okay, our last contestant in this round is Dave. Go ahead.
All right. I'm here to give you the greatest winner we've ever had. Derek Levasseur from Big Brother 16. He played the once. He only needed to play the once. It was a flawless game. Everyone wants to talk about Dr. Will. Everyone wants to talk about Dan. But these two had the fortune of coming earlier, especially Dr. Will. He's season 2. So he got on the ground floor, and you can call him an innovator, but really, like, they were all kind of figuring out. And if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. Derek came along and perfected the game. He created he took like the whole brigade format, and he made it work for him in such a way that he was like a puppet master his entire season. He was so good at manipulating his alliance members, whether it be Frankie or Caleb or Victoria or Cody. You know, that everyone in there was insulated. He got Cody to take him to the end, and then he won.
Thank you very much, Dave. All right, we are opening up the floor for our communal debates. There's going to be 4 minutes on the board. Have at it, folks.
So Dan, right away, first off, the big thing about him was not only did he win his first season unanimously, he went back for a coaching season, meaning that he was only one of a couple returners. So he was, target on his back from the get-go, and he made it to the finals with one of his own teammates who he taught everything he knew in Ian, and he lost in the end because of that, right? Because he was so good that he as a trade by teacher, he was so a student of the game, and he saw it from an overviewing perspective and not from a singular perspective.
Okay, I have a couple rebuttals to both Dan and Derek. First, Dan. Dan was a really good player. I will give him credit for that, but he was very boring in his first season. Not very entertaining, kind of just laid on a couch and read a book the whole time. Didn't really enjoy his game the first time. The second time he was fantastic. But see, that's the thing. He has less quantity that Dr. Will has. Dr. Will has 2 fantastic played seasons. As for Derek, yeah, Dave said he only played once, and when he did play, I was not that impressed. I think he's overrated as a winner. Why? Because he didn't play with a lot of other really good players. Like
Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie and
Cody, the winner of Big Brother All-Stars. He played with the All-Star of All-Stars.
And he played with Nicole, too, also won. Yes, I know I'm making your point here. But at the same time, I disagree with you. The later seasons the players are worse. The earlier seasons, the players were better. All you have to do is go watch those seasons, and you can tell the players got worse somehow. I don't know how it happened.
Some of them were, but wasn't it Dr. Will and Boogie laughing at how dumb all the other contestants were in their seasons?
dumber than them.
So, like, were they playing? Well, yeah, well, and these people were dumber than Derek, you know, and Derek was an undercover cop. He never went on the block once his entire season. He gets taken to the end when Cody could have taken Victoria to the end with him and won for sure.
But not because he was dumb. Not because Cody was dumb.
Exactly. You know, that's how much smarter Derek was, right?
No, Cody knew he was going to lose.
No, he didn't.
I
No,
think he did.
I just watched it again this morning with the final the vote with the jury and Cody's completely like he doesn't understand how much more reverence the jury has for Derek than him in that final two. You know, that you know he's like, oh, well, the men are going to duke it out to the end, but you know, Cody would have rather had $450,000 if you asked him to go back and relive.
Yeah, well, if he would rather that, he would have taken Victoria.
See, Dan's got a lot going for him because not only did he start with the first few people in an alliance called the Renegades back in the first season, so he was that one of those first few seasons where it was like a big alliance, but he also was with major players like Keisha and Memphis, right?
Dan's got nothing going for him. Dan is the worst.
Yeah,
Dan taught Ian to beat him.
I haven't even mentioned the funeral yet, which is by far top 3 all-time performances for someone to flip the script on them being evicted. He didn't even get evicted because he played it off.
I will say that Dan should have won that second season. I agree on that point. But at the same time, his first season is so bloody boring that I can't make him the top of all time when Dr. Will was so fantastically entertaining through both seasons, especially season 2 when the show was just getting its legs going. He kind of really made the show what it became. Even Rob Ciccinito said he based his Survivor game on Dr. Will. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, but you can't argue about that with Dan as well because he came back as a coach for his second season. So like he was one of 3 players along with Boogie and I think it was Danielle. And to have that reputation in season 8,
it was cheating. He got a huge advantage that season. He should never have been allowed to even play it. And even when he was allowed to play it, he lost. So, like, I think that Dan has too many besmirches on his record. I think that he's a boring player. And I agree that, like...
Thank you very much. 4 minutes is over. Can I get 1 point from each person? Surprisingly enough, with the points and the knocks, it's actually pretty close. So I need 1 thing from everyone. We're starting off in the same order. So Foster, please go ahead.
He's reared as one of the nicest winners, and as an actual leader and coach, it showed. He's one of the few that understood the game, not only from his point of view, but from an overlooking perspective of the game. He barely had bad blood because he was adored and trusted by his fellow competitors, even when he was backstabbed others. And it's a Big Brother's a lot about personality and strategy, which Dan sure has a lot of.
Okay. Go ahead, Jeff.
For me, it's kind of what I said before. Dr. Will turned the game on its head, and he did it at the beginning. No one's really revolutionized the game the way he did by, for instance, throwing competitions on purpose, laying in the weeds, telling the audience in the diary room what's going on, but acting totally different inside the house. I don't feel like anyone did that until Will did it, and I think he revolutionized the reality TV competition. Not just Big Brother, but all of reality TV competition, and he did it so well because the diary room allowed him to do that. And I think that was the template going forward for everyone else, and so that's why he's the best for me of all time.
Okay, Dave.
Like, it gets no better than Derek in Big Brother 16 in terms of a perfect winner's game. This guy ran the whole board. He was in control of every situation, never went on the block. I think that Dr. Will, somebody would have come along and do the same things he did if it wasn't him. I think he was just right time, right place. Derek was, he's more like, like an early player, like that's like, it's like comparing like Bobby Hull to Brett Hull, there's a whole different dynamic there. I think that with Dan, I think that this guy has got a bogus record. I think that he's poor. Coming back to Dr. Will, like, being entertaining does not make him better. Like in Big Brother 16, like, I think Zach Rance is the most entertaining contestant that season, but Derek is by far the best player, and this is what this is about. I think that who's fun to watch isn't always what makes the best gameplay either. I think that Derek a bit more methodical, a little bit more boring, but he was charismatic enough and was able to use his undercover police skills to run the whole house.
God, the undercover police again, and his kid. Oh my God.
Right. Okay.
Team America.
Team America.
Okay. So for majority of this, everyone was tied uh, with +2 in terms of uh, positive. So some people had less knocks against their competitor and more points, and some people had less knocks and or more points and less knocks, vice versa. Whatever is supposed to be said. It was tied for a good portion of it, but I have to give it to Dave. Dave squeaked it out at the end.
Oh.
Um, this was going to be Jeff's again. Foster, much better, much better, much better. I did not automatically give you a knock for saying that Ian was Dan's teammate. He wasn't. He was Boogie's teammate. They were in the Quack Pack together, but they weren't necessarily teammates at the beginning. He wasn't his coach. So just want to put some facts in.
Yeah,
Slip through the
Ian-
cracks. Thank you. Slip through the
Ian
cracks.
betrayed Boogie. That was a big part of that season.
Yes. So I think everyone did a great job. I will argue I did not give Dave this point that being entertaining is important to being the best as well.
I agree.
I did give you
Well,
that
Derek
point.
was not unentertaining. I just think that
He was pretty. Yeah, say that was a knock on Derek.
you saying that didn't help my argument. Okay.
It didn't help or hurt it too much. Now we're going into music. What is the best singing reality show? Very simple. Jeff, start us off.
Okay, I went with Got Talent. I mean, so I guess that includes America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, all of it. Okay, the reason why I picked this is because this is the only competition show that I feel isn't like this giant conglomerate of the music industry. It's the only one where you can see a 55-year-old Scottish woman get up there and sing Les Mis, and everyone's stunned. You can't do that on American Idol. You couldn't even do that on The Voice. But on Got Talent, it seems those people fall through the cracks, and then you get some fantastic, out of the box people. And I think we need more of that in singing competitions. I don't really just need to see the 20-year-old blonde girl that can sing. I get it. There's lots of those, but give me the people that, come out of nowhere. That's what I want. That's what Got Talent gives us.
Okay, you're conceding your time. We're going to the top of the order. Dave, go ahead.
I'm going with the great one, the original recipe, if you will, American Idol, the one that started it all, and I still think is the most classic. With the three judges, if you go back to like Paula Abdul and Randy and Simon Cowell, and how well and how successful and how massive that show was and is to this day, and how many imitators have come along since then, whether that be America's Got Talent, which is not strictly a singing show. It's got pets doing backflips or whatever the heck they do over there. Not to mention all the judges on that show are not even American, but that's beside the point. American Idol, it launched the careers of huge, massive stars. I think if you want to talk about like what is it to be a singer, you want to become famous and sell albums, and American Idol is the most direct correlation of that. If you go back to Kelly Clarkson, Clay Aiken, and some of these other huge winners that have come along from the American Idol alumni, it's by far the best singing show. That's it.
Okay, Dave is over. Thank you with American Idol. And Foster, go ahead.
So my choice is The Voice, and it's been around since 2011, 22 successful seasons. The big difference, or there's two big differences between this show and American Idol and Got Talent is, first of all, it's about the voice. The premise of the show is that you don't look at the person, you hear the voice, and then that's what intrigues you as the judges or the panelists. Now, the other really great aspect of it too is with the judges and panelists, yeah, they're big names like the other shows, but they actually put these contestants on their teams, once again, based on their voice, not by how they look, and they coach them throughout the season. And they also have an invested interest in it because they want their players to succeed. So there's a lot more competition, there's a lot more intensity, and there's a lot higher stakes for everyone, not just the contestants. And as well, too, you're going to get a good product because the people who are on The Voice have already been screened. They're already good contestants. It's about who the coaches are going to pick rather than are they actually good enough to sing.
Okay, Foster's returning his remaining time. We're opening up for general debates. 4 minutes, s'il vous plaît, and let's go.
Okay, first thing, American Idol has been relevant since guess who left? Simon Cowell left. Nobody's come out of that show that's been any good since he left. And I defy you to tell me somebody that's good. The Voice, it's exactly what I said. It's wrong about the music industry. It's like, oh, we'll all turn our chairs and only listen to The Voice. Then we turn around, oh, good, they're good looking. All right, I'll take you. That's what I love about Got Talent is you get these people that come out of like bars and and they're just regular Joe Schlo people and they happen to have a great talent. And that's yes, there's other things that happen on Got Talent. There's magicians or whatever, but when there's a singer, the singer I feel like has the best opportunity to show off what they got.
I agree that American Idol has long outlived its like stay here, but like if you look at those early seasons, if you look at Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood alone, two of the biggest pop stars of their eras, like how can you deny it? And The Voice, it's a false flag. It's a bad show because it tries to make it just about the voice and not about how they look. Not since the 70s has it not mattered how you look, because MTV came along. You have to sell the product. This is why Ruben Studdard, the winner of season 2 of Big Brother, arguably, I don't think did as well. I don't think he was as commercially viable, even though he won that competition that year. I think that Clay Aiken was probably the one that, ultimately would have been the more.
And where's he today, Dave? What's he doing today?
He's
Clay
in
Aiken.
Congress, I think, or something.
See, when it comes to American Idol, and first of all, American Idol is, in my opinion, one-dimensional. It's very simple. It's very basic. It's it's been around forever. Obviously, it's the original reality music show, but there's not much there's not much substance to it. It hasn't changed a lot over the years. With Got Talent, you got to remember it's not just a singing show. So 8 times out of 10, it's an act that you're watching that's not singing, right? Even though they have a prolific record of winners being singers, right? Because usually singing talent, supersedes and can sell out audiences and stuff, right? With The Voice, they have battles, they play each other, the coaches go after each other. There's that competition, there's that camaraderie. And at the end of the day, there's a higher profile of people, but at the end of the day, it brings in more people because you're getting people like Aria Grande, Zach Levine, now Chance the Rapper next season. So it's all different genres.
Here's my problem with The Voice, and it's very simple. That show is about the celebrities. It's not about the contestants. It's about the judges, and no one cares who's on the show. It's just like, oh, I like you. I could maybe make you a star or a backup singer. That's what The Voice is all about. Whereas Got Talent, you have people like Callum Scott, Susan Boyle. You have you got lots of different people have come out of Got Talent. I can't think of them all, but
all they did was steal Simon Cowell from American Idol because he was so good on that show, and it was the best reality singing show, Jaemeel. It was the one that started it all. It was massive, huge. Like,
was it the show or was it Simon Cowell though? That's the question.
Well, it was the best use. I think that they had the best talent. I think it was because that was the first show to come along, and you saw so many amazing singers come through the American Idol's early seasons. I think until like season 5, and then it kind of becomes, they all kind of got watered down. But I think that that ultimately American Idol was this lightning in a bottle that was the best reality show about singing, about becoming a star and selling albums and becoming notable. And then it sort of became too ordinary after that. The show kind of uninvented its genre. But when The Voice and America's Got Talent come along, they're trying to capture that same vibe, but it just never has worked as well since those first few years of American Idol.
Well, I think it's gotten watered down. But yeah, go ahead.
No, it's 2 seconds.
That's 4 minutes.
This is a tough one, Jaemeel.
Actually,
I think we all have good choices. I'm not, just to be, polite here. I like all you guys. I think, this is a tough one because the reality singing shows are not all linear anymore. Everyone has its own taste and good and bad about it.
Okay, I'm gonna be a little frank here, right? Not that I'm not frank. I was kind of a little disappointed in terms of how nice everyone was to each other. This should have gotten a little bit more dirty than it needed to be. So breaking down in terms of the points and the minuses, American Idol is out because there are so many knocks against it.
Like what? What was the best knock against American Idol?
So first you said it claimed it hasn't changed over the years, right? Which is immediately disagreed that Simon left, right?
Yeah.
There was a point has not been relevant since Simon left, which you also agreed to,
Right.
right?
Well, it was the best show until
It was the best show. It was the best show, right? You did not talk about how it incorporated original songs or the contestants using instruments in it, which was a change over
Yeah, I didn't like that.
initial. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. You're arguing for the point. You're in its corner.
No, I was saying like first 5 seasons of American Idol was the best reality singing show, and then they ruined it.
Okay. For Got Talent, really the only knock that people just kept coming back to was it wasn't just a singing competition.
That's right.
That's it. Anything else? Anything else?
The judges aren't American.
It doesn't matter. He didn't say America's Got Talent.
Well,
He
once
said
again,
Got
the
Talent.
question is the best reality singing show, and Got Talent is not a reality singing show. It's a talent show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there singing in this show?
Yeah, but it's not defined
I
as a
asked you
singing
a
out.
question. I asked you a question.
Yes, it is,
there-
Jaemeel.
Okay.
Yes,
Is it a
it
reality
is.
show? It is a reality show, Foster.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now, in terms of the voice, right? The knock, all about the judges more than the contestants,
Yeah.
right? That point was further elaborated on in terms of the additional competition with the teams, with the judges. So you're like focusing on the judges. Now, I did like that you said it focused on the voice initially, but then also you had the knock that the people were already preset to already have a certain look to begin with. They didn't put any haggard, ugly person there, right, on the voice to begin with. You never really rebutted that statement at all.
Okay, I'm not gonna. I'm going to rebut it.
Okay,
now.
all right, Jeff, you win. If you rebutted that in some form or fashion,
Yeah.
I would have given
All, I
it
was
to you.
gonna say is that all I would have said is just, and it's fine. I'll concede to Jeff. No worries. The only point I would have said with that is that it's they're not looking for the blonde girl like Jeff mentioned, right? Like they're doing whatever look they can get, right? But obviously, yeah, if you want to go that way, no problem. Jeff, you got this.
When The Voice first started, it was all about, oh, look at this. You shouldn't judge the person by their looks. You should only judge them by their voice. That's why it's called The Voice. But it's not that anymore. Now it's just the pretty person that can sound like some famous celebrity or famous old singer, and which is kind of stupid.
Yeah. And there's a lot more back and forth with the judges. Okay,
Yeah.
so a little cleanup here.
I was robbed.
Clay Aiken wasn't a winner. Dave.
No, runner up.
No.
Runner up. I said. I
Yeah.
said no.
He said he should have been.
I think he probably
No,
should have won
you
that
initially
season.
stated
Oh.
winners like Kelly Clarkson and Clay Aiken. I didn't put that as a mark, but I wrote that down.
Well, I also talked about Carrie Underwood.
You said that afterwards.
Yeah.
Kelly
Well,
Clarkson.
okay.
and
Well,
Carrie
I didn't
Underwood.
know I had
And then
to.
you said
I
Ruben
didn't know I had to
Studdard.
nail it on the first go. I didn't know it was.
I'm just saying. I'm just. I didn't take it as a knock. If you look at my notes, I didn't put it as a knock. I just mentioned as cleanup.
All right.
Okay, that's just cleanup. Okay, moving on because we want to keep this show going. Right? There's no. There won't be an after show currently for this, even though I would love it. So we're gonna go into sports. Okay, what is the best sports focused reality show? So we're at the top of the order. So Dave, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm going with WWF, also WWE. Tough Enough, a reality show that was all about contestants trying to make it in the wrestling business, trying to get a contract with the wrestling promotion. When it starts off, it's World Wrestling Federation, and then becomes WWE, I think, early in those seasons. It's really incredible to see the reality and the brutality of the wrestling business that's often not shown on camera. Like we know that like documentaries like Hitman Heart, Wrestling with Shadows did a great job of that. And I feel like Tough Enough was a really revolutionary one because it dropped the whole kayfabe thing. It didn't try to pretend that wrestling was real. It was like, no, wrestling is about knocks and doing these stunts, but it's still sport. It's still a brutal sport that requires a lot of of conditioning, physical ability, coordination with a team, and everything else. And I think it did a lot to kind of open my eyes to how those things come along, not just from the interviews with the wrestlers, which was mostly my context up to
Thank
that
you
point.
very
but
much.
time,
We're moving
you're
on to
welcome.
the next contestant. I'm keeping on cue with this. So go ahead, Foster, with your choice.
Okay, well, sports, it's all about an activity involving physical exertion. Sam, you're going to like this one. I'm going with the challenge, boys. You know, it's been around since 98. It's older than more popular shows like Survivor and Big Brother. It's had 38 seasons across 25 years. Just like it states in the title, the challenge, every challenge, 99% of the time, involves some sort of physical exertion. And it tests your body mentally, physically, every single time. You get eliminated from the show via elimination. Once again, usually physical. And across the whole thing, you have to come from other reality shows. You have to make sure that you're not only a good personality, but you're a competitor to be able to get on this show. That's how good it is. It's like the professionals for reality TV shows, especially when it comes to sports competitions. So it's not just basic running, jumping, whatever. It's a array of different types of exercise and different types of activities, and they take so many different aspects from so many different sports and
Thank you very much, Foster. And now, go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, I have a show. I'm going a little off the board here. I'm going with The Big Break. Now, I don't know. Yes, I don't know if you guys know what The Big Break was, but The Big Break was a golf competition reality show. Okay, it was on the Golf Channel, and basically the way it worked was they would take like aspiring pros or already semi-pros or amateurs and would bring them all together to compete, almost like in like a Survivor style, like challenge style, if you will, golf competition. And the person that ended up getting all the way to the end and winning the big break would get a big break to play for their card on the tour. So that's kind of like the whole premise of the show. But what was really good about the show is they would have all these battles back and forth, match play style. They had all sorts of different skills competitions where they're most famous for like breaking the panes of glass. And so that was kind of their thing. And that's why it was also called The Big Break. They would break the glass, right? But they would also do like driving competitions, putting competitions, fairway competitions, closest to the pin, all sorts of different things, closest to the line. But what was really good about the show is
Thank you very much, Jeff. Greatly appreciated. So now we're opening up the floor. Please go ahead.
Oh, I'm spearheading this one, Jaemeel. I'm all over top of this rebuttal in this round, boys. Okay, let's go. Let's start with the fact that this show, my challenge, is still on, boys. It's still going strong, once to twice a year. You know, I don't know if The Big Break is even on. I don't remember the last time I even saw it on TV.
It's not.
WWE, WWF, like, okay, Dave, okay, sure, whatever, right? That's
great show.
That's scripted. It's not a competition series. It's not, you know.
It is. It was a competition series. You had to compete.
It's not around anymore, is it? Like they have like all
6 amazing seasons.
All the other shows, but this show has revolutionized. It had its own pipeline. It had its own show called The Real World, specifically for filtering these players into this challenge series. And then when that stopped, they started using the Survivor, a Big Brother. This is like the upper echelon of.
They take the worst people from Big Brother, Survivor, and The Amazing Race. They take like the biggest meatheads and bottle Barbies and put them into Under Armour gear and like I don't know. It's something weird going on with this show.
Dave. Well, okay, Jay is not a musclehead. He's a great personality. He's a great rock climber. Okay, you look at Natalie as well. Natalie was in one of the seasons for a bit. She's a competitor beast. And that's just recently, right?
But they were bad at their games. They were bad at Big Brother. They were bad at Survivor mostly. Like, and then they reward them by put them into this challenge where it's all they think it like this is the problem with modern Big Brother is that they think everything's about the challenges and who is head of household and who has power, but it's not. As we talked about with the whole Dr. Will strategy.
That's good because I'm talking about the challenge, Dave, not about Big Brother, because you have to be good enough to be on the challenge, not just for Big Brother.
Here's the problem with Dave's show. There's a better show. It's called The Ultimate Fighter. It's all about the UFC, where it's not about wrestling. Wrestling died a long time ago, and when that show started, it was already long since dead. The
Jaemeel was
K-Fab,
watching the Royal Rumble last night. It is not died.
I know Dave Jaemeel won't agree with me, but as far as a reality TV show goes, I don't want to watch that. I don't.
Oh, you
care.
remember Maven?
No. But that's just me. That's just my personal opinion on wrestling. I don't watch the new stuff anymore, but I get there's fans for it. I get but I liked the K-Fab stuff. I liked when people thought it was real, and it made it more theatrical. I enjoyed the old stuff. Whereas the Ultimate Fighter to me is more what you kind of want to watch if you're going to watch like a wrestling type.
Who doesn't want to see when a guy falls on his back taking a bump in front of Triple H and one of his nuts pops out of the shorts and then Triple H points it out and then the guy's standing next to those two women wrestlers there. They're like, oh, his nuts are popping out of his shorts. It was hilarious and it was an amazing reality show, vastly entertaining. Or when you see like Billy Gunn like lose it on like some of the contestants, it was as good as anything you'd ever see in like American Idol or any other great reality show.
See, those two shows just focus on one thing: golf and wrestling, right? And obviously this isn't a one sport show, but every single aspect of the physical performances is like a higher, like, so for instance, like their top 2 eliminations of all time: hall brawl, which is basically like linemen going up against each other in football pads, for Pete's sake, as a drill through a narrow hallway, and pole wrestle, which is basically hold on as long as you can while you wrestle the person away from it. Physical exertion beyond belief. They are gassed by the time these competitions are over.
I just think if you're talking about the big break, you want to watch some good competition. You're talking about the golf, one-on-one, mano-a-mano. They also have the women's big break. It really is a great competition show. I loved it. It was great. I used to watch it all the time.
I think that the Tough Enough is still the best of these shows because it's more specific about what you have to achieve to become a great wrestler. It's about performance. It's about your ability to tell the story. It's got a much better thing. With the challenge, it's all random.
Okay,
it's all based on whatever the competition is.
Thank you very much. Can I get a point from each person? Go ahead, Dave.
Oh yeah, I was still going there. And with Jeff's show, like, I don't think that's entertaining to watch golf competitions. I think that if you're good enough to be on the pro tour, you just will be. It shouldn't be about getting in there. What the premise of the show doesn't work for me. Either you're good enough to make the pros or you're not. It's all based on your golf score, I'm pretty sure. And so that's a pretty solid metric. Not who's the best at skills competitions or anything like that. And then Tough Enough.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jeff.
The big break. Okay, I don't think people really realize how many good golfers there are in the world that never get their shot, and that was the whole purpose of the big break, was to give these really good competitors that would try to get their card over and over and just fell short by a few strokes the chance to actually do it or actually get it.
Okay, maybe I just want to make sure, because your show is the one I have the least experience with.
Mm-hmm.
What is the barrier preventing golfers from getting their card?
Well, basically, you have to go through all these play downs, and then but if you don't make it through those play downs, and then you have to play for your card, and you have to shoot a certain score. But most people don't even get the chance to go play for their card, whereas the big break gives you that automatic entryway into playing for your card. That's basically what
they would have made it in the first place.
Okay.
Okay, I've got one strong point. Can I
sorry, just a second.
Yep.
Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
I did not. I'm not listening to Dave's last point towards you. He had his last chance to talk. Okay? I just want to let you know.
All right,
It's stricken from the record.
Yeah, Foster, go ahead.
Okay, my last point is the series finale or season finale is always a 1 to 2 day competition that could include traversing through a jungle, climbing a snowy mountain, or even running across a desert.
Foster, let me. I don't want to be unfair to you. Okay, stop talking. You won this one. Stop. You won this one by far. Yeah. Oh gosh. Where to start? I was most interested in Jeff's. I didn't really get that much in terms of points, and there was only one knock against you, which was it's not on anymore. Right? That's the only knock
against who? Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not on anymore, but most people don't know what it is, so
which
I don't.
Is also the knock I gave Tough Enough too. It's not anymore. Dave,
Yes.
Why would you knock your own show?
I didn't.
You brought up Maven.
I thought he was like
You
an
know
example
what
of a great wrestler, a great career. 5 years. I watched him wrestle WrestleMania 18 against Al
Okay.
Snow, if I recall.
I was very skeptical about the challenge winning this, but
I'm surprised
Foster.
he did. What about my
as you-
knocks? I knocked it's like the Under Armour thing.
That is not a knock. That's just a description of the show.
I never
I'm
watched the
sorry,
challenge. I couldn't knock his show, so
WWE Tough Enough wore, underarm and athletic gear, right? You wear gear. You wear gear,
Yeah,
right?
well,
Reality
I would say it
show
had the
winners
worst.
appears
It had the
on
worst Big Brother people.
challenge. Reality winners appear on the challenge. You brought it up like, oh, they only have crappy people on. Foster rebutted, stating that they had Casey and other winners. You said Natalie was a nobody and not good at the game. Natalie won Survivor.
I thought we were talking about the Natalie from Big Brother who loved James.
No,
I
I
think
said
Oh.
from Survivor. I said from Survivor.
yeah.
she was season
Okay.
16, right? No, yeah.
All
No,
right.
she was
Well,
17.
good job,
17.
Foster. Just to reiterate where we are right now. Jeff is leading with 2 points, Dave with 1, and then also Foster with 1. It's still anyone's game, but we're running out of laneway because we only have 2 more to go.
2 more to go. All right, here we go.
All right. History. Who is the best Survivor player of all time?
I'm up.
Sorry. It's Foster. You are up.
Okay, I'm going with the classic man, Boston Rob, the one who's been around the longest, the 5-time contestant, also a mentor as well on Island of the Idols. And just to quickly do it, he lasted at least 14 days in the season, 152 days total, most all time. Outplay, recorded most individual immunity wins with 9 in his career, tied for second with 4 in one season. And outwit, greatly shown on Redemption Island with his win. And after winning the season, Jeff Probst called it the most perfect game of Survivor ever.
Okay. You're giving back your time. You had 30 more seconds. I'll go to Jeff. Go ahead.
Listen, there's only one player that I can bring up when you talk about the greatest of all time, and it's Russell Hantz. Okay, I know the knock on him is going to be that he never won, but that shouldn't matter in my opinion because he should have won and played 2 seasons good enough to win. It was his inherent personality that brought him down, but that doesn't mean he wasn't a great player. He was a fantastic player. He was the most entertaining, back to the Dr. Will point, of anybody ever on Survivor. He revolutionized the game with the idols. Basically, they had to figure out ways to hide them better because he found them within seconds, within minutes of them hiding them. He had more hustle. He showed every contestant to come after him that you need to hustle to want to win the game. If you don't, then you shouldn't. He also did everything that he needed to do in season 19. He was down like 7-4 at the merge and came back and pagonged the 7 players that were against him. He completely bamboozled that tribe and
Thank you,
took it over.
Jeff. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh man, this is going to be a massacre. Okay, so I'm going with Tony Vlachos, the 2-time winner, the only other 2-time winner than Sandra, who I don't think deserves to be in this discussion, but Tony does. He won the Beauty versus Brawn versus Brains season, playing against some really formidable players like Chaos Cass and Spencer, and maybe not Wu, but Officer Sarah, who went on to win. And then he beat 19 other winners in winners at war. He did it in both times in an incredibly innovative and entertaining way, doing things like the spy shacks, doing things like having his succubus energy and going out and making and having construction projects and being so charismatic. Russell is the greatest runner-up ever, but
These are the introductions, no?
Yeah, these are I can talk about, but I'm going last in the introduction, and who's got Foster again?
Doesn't matter.
Boston Rob, biggest like Jeff Probst can't get his head out of Boston Rob's ass.
Dave, thank you very much, Dave. We're opening up the floor. 4 minutes, please. Thank you.
Now you can go on about Russell Hantz if you want to.
Yeah, let me tell you, this guy, everyone was talking about how he deserved to win. He didn't deserve to win because he didn't understand jury management at all. And he was truly an ignorant player. Each time I respected his game in the heroes versus villains much more, where he completely outclassed Boston Rob, by the way. So like Boston Rob, who played so many times, he just kind of won by accident, it felt like, in his final attempt there, because he was so far ahead. He was kind of given like the Paul treatment in Big Brother 19, where he was the only returning player and he could just run that.
He wasn't the only returning player.
wasn't.
Russell
It was him,
also
Russell.
returned and was taken out by his tribe because they were so scared of him because of his reputation. And his reputation was that he was going to lie to them and vote them all out, which he was going to do, so that's the thing with Russell. He was so feared, and he was such a good player, and he played back-to-back, and nobody played better than him in those 2 seasons. I've never seen anybody ever come close, including Tony. Tony was a very good player, but there's no Tony without Russell Hantz. Okay, Tony
was a better version of Russell Hantz. He was able to do things like find idols. Like he had all those different idols, and he played an aggressive game similar to Russell, but he was way better at managing the jury, being able to play the things out. Russell was just like a scheming villain who was twirling his mustache, and he was thumbing his nose at the other contestants, especially when they were being voted out. And Tony
swore on his dead mother or something and his grandmother, just like Johnny Fairplay did. He just never got the flack for it because of, again, his inherent personality. People liked Tony more because they liked his personality.
That makes him
more,
a better player.
No, it doesn't. That just means his personality is better.
Boston Rob is that he evolved over time. He started in the earliest season. He's earlier than all these guys. He started in season 4. He returned for All-Stars, made it to the final with his wife. He came back with Russell, started a rivalry with him that led him just to Redemption Island. He was on Winners at War. They had a whole season, Island of the Idols, where they worshipped him it
was nonsense. Boston. Okay, let me tell you about Boston Rob. This guy is got the biggest hype of any Survivor player I've ever seen. It's unearned. Sandra deserves it way more than Boston Rob does, and they both get it too much than they deserve, in my opinion. Boston Rob, he lost to Amber, and all these different things for reasons. I think that he's just super tight with Jeff Probst. That's more about relationship and behind the scenes production things than it has to do with how good of a player he is. I think
Boston Rob played a great season.
The audience loves Boston Rob.
Boston Rob played a great season in All-Stars. That was his best season, and Amber
he
won,
lost.
but he should have won. The reason why he lost was because he lied directly to Lex's face, and I think that hurt him the most was that reason. That's why Amber won. But he did the ultimate play when he did he proposed to Amber. So that's why.
They both of these people, Boston Rob and Russell Hantz, they both failed to win at key times. Yeah, I know Boston Rob went on to win sort of that easy season, but I think when you look at, because Tony, who was so entertaining, so likable, and so innovative, and
the new age of Survivor, though. It's the new age, though. It's a much different time.
I just think you don't get a Tony without Russell. I don't think Tony would have had the balls to do some of the moves he did without Russell, because Russell did all those type ballsy moves way before
Russell
him.
Always stayed the same. Russell never changed. He always made the same mistakes when he came back, and that's why he couldn't be successful and win.
Yeah, I think Boston Rob more adaptable than Russell in terms of how he changed his game.
Yeah, but the question to me is who's the best player? And, who got to the end twice right away? It was Russell against good players and new players.
Tony.
The biggest impact that Russell had was how negative he was. It affected his nephew who came in years later.
Tony also got voted out second or whatever when he came back once too. So, that's the same argument for Tony.
4 minutes is up.
Oh, yeah, there was that time.
4 minutes. Okay. Can I get final rebuttals from concerning Boston Rob and Tony? Sorry, Jeff. Sorry.
That's okay.
I only went with Richard Hatch.
I was gonna maybe pick Richard Hatch.
So wait, what are we doing? We're rebuttaling? Oh, okay. Or closing statements. So he has been a major returning player and focal point of the series for several seasons, dating back to his second season of All-Stars, where he proposed to Amber, as we said, created a rivalry with Russell Hantz that kept his relevance fresh and exciting, turning into a very likable leader amongst his competitors. Got him the win even Redemption Island, that was a season where he had to beat Russell Hands and Ozzy, so it wasn't an easy time. It's Boston Rob. He's just outlast, right? Outwit, outlast, outplay, which is the motto of it, and I labeled at the beginning of the argument in terms of his ability.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, like Boston Rob, like this guy, like it just never impressed me. Like I think that Tony has this rootability that is unmatched, that he was so erratic and so underestimated by all of his fellow contestants, including Officer Sarah twice, who was a very good player in her own right. I think that Tony is somebody I would definitely want to see back playing again. With Rob, it was just that it was a tired old bully game that worked maybe early on, like, hey, you would understand what I'm saying to you, and you saw how pathetic it was when he played Winners at War and how he got run out of that season so easily. I think that Boston Rob is a dinosaur.
Ozzy was not Redemption Island. It was a different one. Shit. My bad.
Nope.
Jeff's got a minute left too.
I'm out.
No, I didn't. Jeff was.
Jeff's out.
Yeah,
I made a mistake.
So, I am not taking that mistake into account.
Okay.
So, but you lost anyway.
I was thinking of a different team.
Dave is the winner. Okay. The whole knock with Tony's game being an evolved version of Russell's game can be a knock plus a positive.
Mhm.
Russell actually had the most points towards him, but also had the most knocks as well.
Well, that was going to happen anyway, though.
Yes. So you couldn't escape that. You tried. It was a valiant effort. But sorry. Boston Rob, really good argument there, Dave. Foster, you tried. I appreciate it. You just didn't have enough knocks against Boston Rob. So right now it is 2-2. Going into the wild card, a dreaded, feared wild card. One where many of the contestants do not understand.
You know what? I can't put the brakes on here.
I know one thing. I can't put the brakes on because this is a crucial part of the game.
Do not appreciate my question for wild card, right? So I'm going to state the question, wild card, which is create a new reality TV show that uses a current sitcom as the main focus of its concept. Now, before we start, right, there was a lot of back and forth with many of the contestants regarding the term current, right?
Yeah.
And did not feel that it was fair. Eventually, one individual did not use a current sitcom, right? Everyone agreed to it, so we go ahead. There, I believe it is Jeff who's starting off. Go ahead, Jeff, with yours.
Okay, I have a great concept. Okay, so my concept is based off the TV show called Ghosts. It's a sitcom that stars Rose McIver and Utkarsh Ambudkar. And basically, the whole concept of the show is a young couple moves into this beautiful country house, and then they realize that it's both falling apart and needs lots of renovations. Okay, but it turns out that Rose McIver's character can talk to all the ghosts and all the deceased people that previously have lived there or have been around there. So going back centuries, she can talk to them, but her husband comes to realize that this is true. And so my concept for a new show is to do an HD TV Halloween concept show of fix up a bed and breakfast or a country house that is haunted. So it's a Halloween special. And so basically the way it works is, each room has a different judge, and they have to dress up like a ghost, whatever it is, a Civil War general or a
thank you very much, Jeff.
Whatever it is.
That is your opening. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay. So, yes, I did need some time to wrap my head around the concept because it was all about taking the premise of a current day sitcom and how that's going to adapt into the TV show. And after I thought about it enough, and then thinking about all the great sitcoms I've watched in my life, and what's on now, which I'm less familiar with, I could come to the ultimate answer, which is Night Court, a show that was back in the 1980s, but has been revived once again with John Larroquette in both versions, which was all about like this judge, Harry T. Stone, who ran like this night court in New York City, where these kind of zany characters would come through, and John Larroquette was like the prosecutor, and then Marky Post was the like the defender, and then there was like the bailiffs and everything else. So I want to do a show that's kind of like a Judge Judy type show, where we have all these, but with contestants who are the defenders, right? So we have a judge, and then we have these different clients will come through, and they'll be defended by the public defender team and the prosecutor team. And some of the contestants.
Thank you very much, Dave. Go ahead, Foster.
Okay, real simple. I'm going to keep it easy. My show I've chosen is a sitcom called The League. It's over, but it's on Disney Plus. You can watch it. It's phenomenal. It has great actors in it, from Nick Kroll to Jason Mantzoukas, which is he's a really big voice actor. Basically, the premise of the show is about guys in a fantasy football league. I think that'd be really cool to do nowadays with celebrities. So week to week, knowing who's facing each other, with punishments, with championships, with they get together, they chat, they converse. A big thing these days is streaming. So watching these celebrities or high profile people get together, chat, and do all these on a weekly basis throughout the football season would be great. Plus, it has a great audience because the NFL has a huge audience already, and it could tap into that right away.
Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit different in terms of its open debate floor, right? I need the pitches were okay. You were kind of introducing the concepts, but I need a little bit more of what an episode will look like for each person. So I'm going to give you each a minute to describe the episode, right? And then we'll go into the debate portion there for the remaining time, right?
Okay.
So go ahead. We'll start off with I think it was Jeff. You were starting off first, so go ahead.
Okay, so mine's an HGTV episode of television. So basically, the way it works, it's a Halloween special, and a couple comes into a country home, maybe a bed and breakfast. And so the way it works is there's 3 judges, one judge in each room that they have to renovate. Okay, so whether it be kitchen, bedroom, whatever it is. And they walk into that room, they realize, okay, there's a ghost in that room, and that ghost is the judge of that room. And they can either approve of it or disapprove of it once the renovation is complete. Okay, and they get a certain budget, and by the end of the episode, we get to see whether or not the ghost approves. So that's basically the general concept of that hour of HG television. I think it lends to a lot of fun, where it could be a great Halloween special, and we would get a great different maybe celebrity guest judges that could dress up and wear whatever they want. Really, they could be for the Civil War, the 20s, the 40s, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just different time ago. And then that is the concept. Wherever the ghost is from, they have to impress the judge, so they have to go with that theme.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, go ahead, Dave.
Okay, so my show is really like a legal reality show that is going to focus on up-and-coming law students looking to become lawyers, specifically more in criminal type cases, kind of modeled after maybe the early seasons of The Apprentice, where you would have one team, maybe of the men, we'll make them the prosecutor team, one team, maybe the women, who are the defender teams in the spirit of the original sitcom. This show will be called Night Court as well, and it's going to all be about how are you going to mount this legal defense. Obviously, winning those legal defenses are going to be how you determine who win the different challenges or the different rounds, and who you're going to ultimately eliminate each week from the competition, when you ultimately will get the best lawyer out of it, or a young lawyer, and then the entertainment value is going to ultimately come from who the clients are coming through. Some of which will be real, but some of which will be actors who, and we're going to test the contestants, who are again are legal students, lawyers, on how they're going to approach.
Thank you very much, Dave. Foster, go ahead.
So this will obviously be during the NFL football season. So it starts from September all the way till January. What's great about it is, once again, they already have a fan base. So they go in, with betting and gambling, fantasy sports. It's already a huge market for that. You come in with these high-profile people who people know already. They start with the draft. That's an episode. They get together every Sunday, watch the games, react to the scoring. They have conversations about, you know, their lives in between, because, you know, they're celebrities or whatever, right, which gets people involved and excited. You know, part of the week is their punishment section, so they'll have, like, you know, punishments based on the worst performer that week or whatever it may be. You know, there's the trade talks, there's podcast, there's a lot that could branch from this thing, right? But basically it's a week-to-week situation based on real life events of the NFL. And there's, you know, the huge fan base already with all these fantasy sports. People can relate, and people will follow because they'll want to trust these people and like these people's insights and use them for their own game.
Okay, so great job, everyone. I'm going to open up to debates with this. Before we do, let me just state that I came into this concept very passionately, and I was very disappointed in terms of the feedback. I will say that I'm not disappointed in terms of how you all have taken to this question and your responses. Great job, everyone. I will be awarding points to this question. Right?
Good. So someone will win. Someone will win.
Okay. So go ahead.
There's
and start
a good one, at least.
Okay, I have a couple things to say first. Dave show, no idea what's going on, what it's about, what's going on.
Your show don't know what's going on. Your show's about ghosts.
Yeah.
Second, not real.
You have to believe in ghosts to be able to watch that show.
It's a Halloween special.
And
So
what's
once a year?
it's based on this sitcom that's like it's fictional. It doesn't make sense. Like, how can you? It doesn't tie in with the show. And how do you win this show?
It does tie in with the show. What do you mean?
Is-
How does it not tie in with
Dave,
the
is
show?
your show just Judge Judy at night? Is that what it is? Is that,
Yes.
is that
It's fun, Judge Judy at night, but also mixed with The Apprentice, right? Like we got, you know, you're gonna have a winner. It's almost like got like a Hell's Kitchen vibe to it, you know.
yeah, they
where
have to
it's gonna
pass the
be
bar though.
Hell's
and that's a
Kitchen in
whole
court?
deal.
Hell's Kitchen in court, right? You're gonna get like, you know, maybe get Judge Judy or somebody like a really interesting judge who's in the spirit of the original Harry T. Stone.
Okay,
of a
so
clown
yeah, but in Hell's
magician.
Kitchen, if you burn a plate, you can just throw it in the garbage. If you ruin a case, what's gonna happen? You go to jail.
Well, yeah, the client might go
Boom.
to jail. But like that's why I'm like, it doesn't have to be real cases. It could also just be like actors, and it's just about, it's on the merits of how a lawyer handles the case.
It's got actors. It's not reality.
so that's
It's
Judge
reality.
Judy then.
It's reality because the contestants are real. The cases are real. You know,
I-
but the names
I-
might be changed.
I'm not
in
a
the
fan.
criminal
I wa-
justice system. It's all about the criminal
It's not
justice.
Law and
My favorite
Order.
part- My favorite part of Law and Order was the second part with the lawyer stuff. You know,
See, what's
So-
great with my show is that it stays
The order.
fresh every single year because it's new players every single year at the top, and you know who you're gonna get. Like, you can't always rely on that there's gonna be ghosts around in the place. So you can't rely on, you know, so and so getting that speeding ticket at 2 a.m. because they were driving home from the bar.
Oh, they have all kinds of interesting stuff come through the night court. People want to see that stuff, you know, like and things. But I don't understand Foster's idea either. Foster wants to make a show about like a football pool, but like it would never be as good as the league is, because the league are about fictional characters who are incredibly funny. And like if I just watch like a bunch of random guys talk about or women or whatever about like their football pool, I don't think that you could make that compelling. Like in the
It depends
Well,
who
if
they
you
are.
can
I actually
stream
think
and you can watch people comment on videos and comment on gameplay these days, and that's a really popular thing on YouTube. I think you can definitely put it towards football, especially when it's real life football too on NFL, right? It's not just about fantasy; it's about, you know, like, and you can relate because you also are on your own league.
I think, all right, with Josh's show, I mean, it all depends who's on the show, and the chances are you're not really going to get really good people because it's hard to. But at the same time, I do think his show would work because people love fantasy football for whatever reason. I don't understand it, but people love it.
They're not
second
a
thing,
group of people. Like,
my show, I watch a lot of HGTV, and I do think it would be a great concept to have like celebrity guests come in and be like, oh, I'm from the Depression and I want a bar, you know, and they have to build them a bar tailored to the ghost that is asking for it, and then you bring them back at the end and they approve or disapprove, because the sitcom Ghost is all about the fact that those ghosts don't want them there. They want them to leave, and they don't want them to renovate. They want everything to stay the way it was.
Your show won't work because ghosts aren't real, and so therefore the show is
it's
not
not supposed to be real. You keep arguing about real or not real. I told you they're not real. It's not real ghosts.
It's not reality. It's not reality.
My show is pretty much already alive because there are professional like football or baseball players that are in their own fantasy football leagues with other people. So like you cross any sport, right? There's all these high profile people. They could easily get 12 celebrities, former athletes, spokesmen,
You
whatever.
want like a celebrity version of a football pool on
Well, it'd
TV.
have to be funny and intriguing, right? It'd be hard to just do randoms because you can't trust them, right? Like
This is like when we watch the announcers on football, like bet on who's going to win the game, and like, does it really matter if Jimmy John gets it right or not? You know, like it's I don't know. It's
There's a lot of money involved.
Okay, 4 minutes is up. Oh my gosh! Wow, wowie zowie. So a little cleanup. Now let's start with Night Court. Good argument. I think that a lot of the confusion that people were getting was the real versus not real aspect of it. But I like the concept overall.
He liked
this point. This point goes to Jeff.
I think he was going to say this point goes to Dave because he liked the concept of a Night Court reality show.
I'm not so sure. I didn't get it, Dave. I honestly, I didn't understand what it was that you were doing.
That's going to be a great show. It's about who's the best new young lawyer in the public defense system or in the public prosecutor.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know how much I got cut off.
You said you thought Night Court was a good concept.
You thought I was going to win the round, and
so for me, it is the matter of making sure that we have. I think the real not real aspect is the one that people are having most trouble with. I think if you're coming with a more consistent tone in terms of, okay, it's all actors, but these are real cases that have already been completed in the past. Right? So it doesn't have any bear to any future decisions, but it's like a case study for colleges and universities and stuff. That stuff that I think that is a solid concept.
And if I may, the one thing with the original when we first were going back before on the question was I was like, how do you stay true to the premise or the spirit of the sitcom? You know, like how do you translate that into a reality show? And I think I've done the best job of that.
I think you've done a really good job, which comes to Jeff's. One thing I don't understand is with Ghost, the premise of the show is one of the competitors can see and hear the judges, the other one can't. Right? And I never really got that.
I should have said that. That is true.
Yeah. Right? So that was missing. The league. Okay, the issue that I had, and I know I'm just dumping on you all right now in terms of your answers. The issue I had was you were more talking about franchising your show even before the show even concept was really.
Well, yeah, because the NFL runs every year.
Yeah, but we're right now we're talking about getting your show on the air in general. Okay. And
hey, if they're betting on sports now, I think this could easily take off.
Okay. That being said, I've watched all of your show and I'm familiar with all of them as well. So I will state, yes, I'm going to give points this round. And surprisingly enough, the points go to, who do you think?
Foster.
Dave.
You are correct.
Oh.
Foster.
Hey!
All right.
I thought my concept was fantastic, though.
I thought all three concepts were fantastic.
Yeah, they were solid. It's a tough question.
I want to see this Night Court show now. Oh, we're tied.
Yeah, we're all tied.
Oh,
so that
good.
means we have another question. So I've been working with the producer in the meantime regarding coming up another question. So this is our tie-breaking question. So the person who provides the worst answer will be eliminated.
A lot of pressure.
No pressure. So the question is, name a director that would make. We'll take film director out of it. I would say just director in general. Okay, name a director that would make a really.
Can I just pick? Can I just say?
I've got one too.
Name a director that would make a really great reality show contestant on Big Brother.
Celebrity Big Brother or normal Big Brother?
It says Big Brother, so we're just saying Big Brother in general.
Big Brother proper. Okay.
Right. So we're starting at the top of the order.
Okay.
So go ahead, Dave.
I want Quentin Tarantino in the Big Brother house. I think that would be interesting.
One
to
minute
see.
on the board.
What's that?
1 minute on the board for you.
1 minute. Yeah, it's fine. Quentin Tarantino, who I think is just fun in interviews and really good at making connections with people and connecting on a whole range of different subjects. I think he would make a great contestant, just to see how he would try to play things around. You know, like he has all these like suspicious stories, like Reservoir Dogs or The Hateful Eight, mysteries, or I think he could play the different plot lines, you know, in a non-linear fashion. And I think Quentin Tarantino in the Big Brother house would be just a hoot, you know. So that's what I'm going with. I yield most of my time.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Foster.
I'm gonna go with. Just give me a second. Okay. I'm gonna go with M. Night Shyamalan, because the whole season, all you're waiting for is that twist, and you're waiting for something to happen or him to say something, because you're going to be misled, or that him going in there, he's going to be a focal point because of his history with storytelling and never giving the straight answer reasoning, and you always want to stick around till the end to see what the real truth is.
Okay. Go ahead, Jeff.
What's the question? What film director would make the best contestant?
Put it up on the board, producer Murph.
So I have two people, but who I would want to see on the show, and who
Name a director that would make a great reality show contestant.
I'm gonna go Tim Burton on this one.
Oh, I thought of him. Yeah.
Tim Burton would be like the quirky, like weird guy that he would be a solo contestant on Big Brother. Everyone would be like, "What's up with this guy?" And he would just kind of float through the game, and he would get to like at least the jury, and he would be very entertaining. He would come out all sorts of different outfits. His hair would always be crazy. He would give great diary rooms. Everything would be macabre. He'd be very much like the Addams Family, I would think, imagine, as a contestant on Big Brother. So I think that would be very entertaining to see that, because that's the angle he views all the world. Look at all his movies. All his movies are of the macabre type persuasion. So I think that would be a really good juxtaposition to the other contestants that were brought in on Big Brother, who are always kind of bubblegum, so I think he'd be a lot of fun.
Okay, we're gonna open this up for debate.
I'm gonna come around to the guns a-blazing here, okay? With Dave's, we'll start with Dave's. Tarantino, the problem with him is that you're already gonna know from the beginning of the season what's gonna happen, because he's gonna tell you, right? So that's already ruining it for you already. And then with Jeff's, Tim Burton's great, but he doesn't have Johnny Depp there, right? So he's not gonna be full on, the best he can be.
Okay, with Tarantino, everyone's gonna be like, "Look, man," and just after hearing that over for about 3 days, you're gonna lose your mind. Whereas at least Tim Burton, it's just kind of like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Tim Burton would be the most boring. I disagree with you so many times in your opening speech there. You're like, he'd be like fun and zany in the diary room. No, he wouldn't. Have you ever seen an interview with Tim Burton? He's always like, "Oh, I'm good played," and then we did this thing. He gives terrible interviews, and he's so like depressing, and he wouldn't be fun socially, I think, at all. He's kind of a negative. I think Tarantino just gets along with people way better, and I think he'd be way more interesting to watch as a social player. Plus, I think his diary rooms would be entertaining as hell, and I think that he would have a different way of looking at the game than most. And I think
the show is said to expect the unexpected, which is exactly what M. Night Shyamalan's movies are about.
M. Night Shyamalan, you can't. Okay, what about his personality though, Josh? Makes M. Night Shyamalan good for the house? Because as far as I can tell, all you're saying is like his movies and his twists. I'm talking
about his mind, his mental game. Because most of the Big Brother players out there that are winners and stuff, they need to have a very strong mental game. And he would
have to have Bruce Willis in the house, and he would have to be like telling Bruce Willis how to play. Like, I don't think Jeff's got a point.
If the house wasn't set in Philadelphia, he's lost.
Yeah, he will know where to go. Like, you want to understand how it works.
And to Dave's point about Tim Burton, yeah, I think that's what would make him a zany character. It's because everyone's like so bubblegum, and he'd be like, "These people, they don't even know what death is," and like, I think
yeah,
great.
M. Night Shyamalan would be that silent assassin that you just don't know what he's thinking right until he gets to the diary room and he's just talking out his ass because, you know, he's just like, what about this idea? What about this idea? And then when in reality, it's not even the right idea because he's going to do something completely different at the end.
Everything I've seen with M. Night Shyamalan in interviews also says to me he's not the same kind of boring as Tim Burton. Tim Burton's more like just weird and quirky. Like M. Night Shyamalan, I think as an interview, I think it's just kind of dull. And I think as a contestant, he would be the same thing. Even like how he writes a fiction is kind of beside the point. I think in terms of just personality, I think like Tarantino is way more suited for casting than either of these guys.
Yeah, but all these guys are directors. They want to write their own story, right? So I think that however they're going to write their own stories, how they're going to be portrayed in the show, right? And I think that that's based on, you know, how, you know, what their film history is about. And once again, expect the unexpected, expect twists and turns. M. Night Shyamalan, it rings the bell. True.
But they have to be effective in their ability to play the game, not just in their in terms of how they're going to. They could all three of them could come up with a way of, oh, this is how I'm going to play the game. This is my version of it. But I think in terms of who has the skill set in the toolbox to actually execute that, I think Tarantino is the only one. And
he may be the most hardcore intellectual in terms of cutthroat, but at the end of the day, is that everyone's going to see him as a threat. He's not going to last very long. I think M. Night Shyamalan and as well as Tim Burton would last longer just because they're not as in your face or, you know, intense.
Maybe. I think Tim Burton would also do very good at the competitions. You look at a lot of like the introspective type puzzle games. I think that's very much up Tim Burton's alley. I think he's a guy that looks out thinks outside the box. He doesn't make the conventional movie. He makes it the way he wants to make it, but he can see something out of nothing. I think that's it.
He's all about the monster, Tim Burton.
Yeah, he's all about the monster. The personality is high. I think he would also be fine at conversations. He would, you know, I've seen him interviewed by Howard Stern. He you know, he's fine. He can talk.
It says Tarantino would have himself eliminated or kill himself. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, by Tim Burton.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Who do you want to see in Big Brother now of these three?
me personally, it's not the matter of who I want to see. It's whoever.
Who would be your choice, Jaemeel?
Who would?
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
Sam's down with the Tim Burton.
Sam.
So I think the misconception about this question was which personality. Right? Not personality, but I should say which director would somehow direct themselves in this Big Brother. And that's not the case. We asked which director would be a really good Big Brother player, right? And ultimately, Tarantino is such a interesting personality that he would fit on the show. He would annoy people, but he would still fit on the show, right? Tim Burton also has a personality of sorts. It would be a very low-key game, and he would be to himself, and people would think, who the hell is this guy? And he would get eliminated after the second episode.
I think he'd just be sleeping in the like Audrey, like for weeks, like, you know, in the dark or something.
M. Night Shyamalan, having seen his personality in interviews, would never get hired on Big Brother at all. Right? Because he has no defining personality at all.
I've never seen an interview by him, so it's all good.
You'll be underwhelmed.
You're gonna YouTube it afterwards, and you're gonna be like, "What?"
All I thought was, "Oh, what a twist!"
What a twist!
No, I like the mindset, but yeah, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Josh, great attempt. You were almost there. But unfortunately, you did not get there, and you won't be joining us in the speed round. Right? Now, I guess what might be asked is who actually won this specific round, and I'm actually going to give it to Dave.
Okay. Does he get a point for that?
That's a very good question. In tiebreakers,
normally we do give the speed round as a point. Yeah. But
this isn't a speed round.
You're also you sometimes we've given 2 points out to the two people moving on.
It's up to you, Jaemeel.
I'll give it to Dave and Jeff.
Yeah, so that we're tied going into this, and so.
But great job, Foster. Please play again. Maybe you might get a better host like Jody
or Chris.
Hey, I got 2. I'm happy with that.
Yes, well deserved. Well deserved.
Stay around, Foster, though, if you can.
Yes. Yes.
And
okay, so we're going into the speed round. Let me bring up my speed round questions, or what I was calling it, the fast money round. Right, I had to do a little research on this part too because I want to make sure that if people got mad at my questions, that I had a response immediately. So, our first question is movie round. So whoever answers first will be able to debate their point first as well. Okay. So, who is the best actor to debut on a reality show?
actor
To debut. What do you mean? Like it's best actor to, like went and did other things too?
Person who first appeared on a reality show that eventually became an actor or actress.
I can't think of any.
I have a long list.
There's a long list of these people.
A long
Well,
list.
how about give us 2 options. We'll pick one.
I'm confused about.
How about this? I will name some of the shows that they appeared on.
Okay.
Help you out. Okay. Dancing with the Stars. All New Mickey Mouse Club. Star Search.
Oh, okay. Justin Timberlake. I'll take Justin Timberlake.
American Idol. In Search of the New Partridge Family. The Real World. Tough Enough. The Big Date. I Want to Work for Diddy.
I want to work for Diddy.
Okay, so go ahead, Jeff. You already picked person. Dave, you have a little while longer to be able to test out your decision. Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, who did Jeff pick again? Timberlake?
Yeah, Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
Okay, Justin Timberlake.
30 seconds.
Okay, for me, Justin Timberlake. I would not have thought he was a good actor, and then I started watching some of his movies, and I'm like, oh, okay, he impressed me. Like in The Social Network, where he plays like the Napster dude. He's been in a bunch of movies where I'm always impressed. I'm like, where is this coming from? Because I never thought of him as a great actor. But yes, he debuted, I believe, on Mickey Mouse Club, so that would be his debut. And then he went to NSYNC. But then I think he's a better actor than he is a singer. When you see him in a dramatic role. I think he brings a lot to the film a lot of the times.
Okay, that's 30 seconds. We started a little bit late there in the countdown.
Right.
Okay,
I'm going with Aaron Paul on The Price is Right. He, I think his work, in particular on Breaking Bad, but also in Westworld, has been really good. I think he's a very, very strong actor, and the fact that he was a contestant on The Price is Right puts him in this category. I think he's a better actor than Justin Timberlake, to be sure. So I don't think that there's much of a point to the rest of this debate. You can give me the point now, Jaemeel.
Why is Aaron Paul a better actor than Timberlake? He does the same character. Yo, bitch, what's up? He does the same. He has no
his
range.
Westworld character was very different. He had a lot more range. He was tortured.
He went
by his childhood.
Oh, bitch.
He never said bitch once in Westworld.
No, he didn't. But in Westworld, I don't really see a lot of acting prowess.
Oh yeah, he was bringing it.
It's not like Inside Llewyn Davis, where you get Justin Timberlake being able to use his music background.
Justin Timberlake, he's okay. First of all, he didn't really start on a reality show. He started on the Mickey Mouse Club, which is not a reality show. It's a variety show. And so I think it's a different category. And I think that The Price is Right is a game show, but it's based in reality. It's not fiction. So I win.
Like Aaron Paul's never done anything as good as Runner or In Time or Friends with Benefits, Dave. He's got a great.
Okay, let's stop there. Let's stop there. So obviously Dave looked it up in the meantime, right?
No, I just thought about it. I just remembered.
You're pulling Aaron Paul off the top of your head.
Well, Murphy put a ticker on the bottom, and I read it quick, and so I went with that.
Okay. Dave gets his point. Jeff.
Yes.
Okay. Other people. Just to show that I did actually look this up. In Search of the New Partridge Family was the debut of Emma Stone. The Mickey Mouse Club was the training ground of Ryan Gosling.
Oh, Ryan
Gosling.
Yes,
Burlington's Own.
You should have picked this.
American Idol, you had Jennifer Hudson and also Catherine McPhee. Right? Jamie Chung, was on The Real World. Laverne Cox, she was I Want to Work for Diddy. Carrie Russell was also on the new, Mickey Mouse Club as well. So I wasn't just going with the Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears people from Mickey Mouse Club. There was actually actors that came.
It's
from
an
it.
interesting list for sure of different
Yes.
actors.
Michael Bisping.
Michael Bisping.
No one say Colby Donaldson. Well,
What movie?
was
No,
he on
you
The
just-
Young and the Restless?
You
or
just got to
something?
go full tilt. Full tilt.
All right.
Yes.
Next round.
Yeah. Before Lucy Hale was also an American Juniors as well.
Okay, that was a
Here we
tough
go.
one.
Okay. TV. What is better, racing reality shows or cooking reality shows?
Cooking.
I got that first.
Yep. Go ahead.
Cooking shows. There's so many of them. There's so many different things they can do in cooking show.
Could you pause for a second? Let's 30 seconds.
'Kay.
Go ahead.
Okay, cooking shows. There's so many things you can do. You can do a competition cooking show. You can just do like a one-on-one with a chef. You can do all sorts of different cuisines. You can do a travel cooking show. You can. There's endless amounts of possibilities with cooking shows, and you can really show off the world, the people. The different type of cuisines, how that relates to people, how that relates to generations of people, where they're from, the land, geography. There's so many things with cooking shows that really show off the world.
Go ahead, Dave.
Racing shows much better because they're exciting. They got the adrenaline. Cooking shows, there's way too many of them. They're dull. Contestants all blend together. Whereas in racing, it's more of a sport. It's got this intensity. It's got this danger. It's got this fun to it, Jaemeel. And there's no reason why you wouldn't want a reality show based on racing to be on your screen at any given time. It could be car racing. It could be any kind of racing, horse racing, maybe. It's marble racing. Think about how awesome that is.
Okay, rebuttal. Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't even know where to start with that one. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he truly believes in that argument because he did. I can name a bunch of shows. We got No Reservations. We got Hell's Kitchen. We got so many different cooking shows that are so good. Whereas racing shows, I couldn't name one, and I wouldn't care to.
Dave, go ahead.
It doesn't. There's so many awesome racing shows out there. You can't even count them all. Who can even where do you start? Really? There are some amazing, intense things. You think about what's more. Where would you rather watch, a movie about a race or a movie about a cooking show? You would rather watch the race.
The question's about TV.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Jeff, you had a slam dunk.
I didn't.
And then wait, hold it. Stop the applause.
Oh, did I win?
Jeff, you had a slam dunk, and then you waste your rebuttal time with nonsense. But then Dave also used his rebuttal time with more nonsense. So Jeff, you get the point.
Okay. I was like, there's no way.
Totally just gave up.
I did the best with something I didn't want, which was racing shows.
Okay, you got to commit.
I was trying.
Okay,
But it was one I knew nothing about. So I was
okay. What music? More influential show, Eurovision or Got Talent?
Oh, I want to go second this time. So Dave, you pick.
Eurovision.
Okay, Eurovision. Explain.
Eurovision is better because that's what launched ABBA. ABBA, one of the biggest bands of all time, massive success commercially, all through there. And they got their start on Eurovision way back in the 70s. I think that Got Talent just doesn't have an enduring artist or success that can even measure up to ABBA. And so it was easy to go with Eurovision in this particular thing. The legacy is just unmatched.
Okay.
How dare you, Dave? Got Talent has produced such great people like Susan Boyle, like Callum Scott. You don't know who Susan Boyle is? Susan Boyle, the Scottish grandmother that just belted out Les Mis. You talk about influential. I mean, I don't really think anyone knows anything about Eurovision other than that ABBA came out of that show. The ABBA's more well known than the show, whereas Got Talent is a brand. It's all over the world. It's got so many different countries have Got Talent, not just Britain or America or Canada. Now Canada has it, and they have a new great winner, a French singer. So yeah.
Okay, Dave.
These are, nobody's heard of these people. This French grandmother singing Les Mis. You're gonna put that up against ABBA? Like, you gotta be kidding me! Like, this is a very weak cast of people. And Eurovision, that's all they need. All they need is that one artist in terms of their influence, because that show produced one of the biggest artists of all time.
Okay, well, with Got Talent, you'd only get singers. You get something like Attraction, which was a shadow display of puppets, basically. Forgot what you say, but they would use all sorts of different shadows to tell a story, and that that's very well known. It's a Hungarian group that did that, but the point is, it's fantastic.
Before we finish up, I need 1 point against the other. Just talk about the other. That's it. Start with Dave.
Okay, America's Got Talent. It's just like it's a gimmick is all it is, and it's going to fade away, and its influence is not going to have any enduring legacy from everything I've been able to tell.
What other than ABBA, what influence has Eurovision had? Got Talent's still going. It's still producing tons of different acts.
Jeff. I only asked for a knock.
Oh, a knock. Eurovision, I don't even watch. I've never even watched a single episode of it. I don't know why it's influential, other than a band came out of it.
Okay, 1 positive for your show each. Dave.
It's international and brings culture to the world.
Jeff.
You got the golden buzzer, which creates these great TV moments that really just warms your heart, and you just go, "Wow, I'm so proud for that person," because the judges skipped the line entirely and said that person's fantastic.
Okay, Dave gets the point.
Woo!
Dave hit the international across Europe is very strong of a point. Sorry,
all right,
Jeff, but good argument.
All right, next one.
Sports. What is better? MXC versus American Ninja Warrior versus The Challenge.
American Ninja Warrior.
Okay, go ahead.
American Ninja Warrior is awesome. You're watching these women and men do all these amazing challenges. It's got like the interview segments where you get to set up who these contestants are, what their story is, and how they're going to approach these different contestants. It's got this amazing excitement to it as you see if they're going to be able to like do these different stunts and go up these things. And the challenge is like, I'm just watching a bunch of wash ups, and MXC I'm not too familiar with, but it's not as good as American Ninja Warrior, that's for sure.
So MXC is most extreme challenge.
Yeah, it sounds like it's.
I'm supposed to know like what MXC's most extreme challenge is. I know that it's like what's that show, Flip Out or what?
Wipeout?
It's like that. Wipeout.
I just want to say the fact that none of you know what MXC is embarrassing. I am so embarrassed for you guys.
Why? We're not Japanese.
Oh my god, you never watched Spike TV? Come on.
I did, but like not...
So little full disclosure, this is the producer's question. He felt very passionate about this one. So
I know what it is. It's the guys that
Jeff,
dress in like.
What is your response?
Are you going with the challenge or MXC?
I'll go with MXC because I never watched the challenge either. But I know what MXC is. I never watched it like religiously. I don't know what the most extreme challenge is, but I know the concept of the show, which is that it's a Japanese extreme competition show where they do all sorts of like Wipeout, like all sorts of different things where they make them climb up the slippery stairs and all that kind of stuff. And it is extremely entertaining. And I'd much rather watch that than American Ninja Warrior. American Ninja Warrior is just look how athletic we are. We can jump. We're jumping from thing to thing or whatever. I don't care. Whereas MXC's at least got some entertainment value to me where it's just like so ridiculous. It's like the people will get injured.
Okay, Dave.
There's no way I would rather watch MXC than American Ninja Warrior or The Challenge. Like American Ninja Warrior is completely rewatchable. It's easy to understand. It's got the crowds in there who make it a whole different kind of excitement. It's more of a true sports show of any of these, I think. Whereas MXC, I just think is just like, I think they take it too far.
What?
Okay, Jeff, go ahead.
I kind of want to see things go too far. That's the whole point of MXC. You know, I don't really care about Ninja Warrior. I don't DVR it and want to watch it. But with MXC, it's like that's hilarious, and I can watch it on YouTube forever. You know, some of the things that they did, like tie a guy's legs to a rope and attach those ropes to two horses.
Okay.
See what happens.
Okay. Whew. All right.
Wow. Wow, that's what you think MXC is? Wow.
Okay.
No, what you want me to say to you?
I am not going to provide the answer to this one. I'm going to let the world mind pick who is the winner of this one, because I know he was very passionate.
I've got to pick Dave because Jeff completely just ruined all of MXC with his descriptions. It's nothing of what he described it as.
Uh-oh. All right. So do I get it then?
Why? He didn't even like argue well for his though. You know, like why does he win?
Default.
Foster, how did you feel? I know you're disappointed
Very,
no one picked.
very disappointed the challenge wasn't selected, even though it won in the competition as the best sports show. I was surprised no one picked American Ninja Warrior during the battle of the original, but disappointed in you both. Come on, Jeff. You could have easily goofed off the challenge and beat Dave here.
Kenny Blankenship and Vic Romano are rolling in their graves.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand what my description was so wrong about MXC. Explain it to me.
You said that they tie themselves to horses and are dragged around.
No, I said that was one of the things they did.
I think that's a lynching.
And they did do that.
No.
Yes, they
did.
No. I can show it to you. You want me to show it to you?
To slaves.
I can show you exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, but did I win this round, Jaemeel?
We're moving on. Yes, Dave won this round.
All right, just want to be clear on that. All right.
Okay. Now, looking at our point score, right?
Have I won already?
No, you have not. We have two more.
Jeff needs both.
The two aren't going to be easy. So
All right.
please listen. So history. Right. What show had the biggest impact? Survivor or Big Brother?
On history?
Oh,
on history?
Survivor.
Okay.
Big Brother.
30 seconds?
Big Brother.
30 seconds for Jeff.
Okay, they both came out at the same time, but Survivor was way bigger show. Everyone was watching Survivor. Even my parents would never watch Big Brother. Survivor was a way bigger audience. Big Brother is more of a niche show. It's more of like for the younger generation. Usually people grow out of watching that show. Survivor, I still watch it. I still watch Big Brother too, but I'm a rare case. Whereas Survivor, I still think people stayed with it. Big Brother's commitment. You got to watch it like 3 times a week. It's not exactly the most influential in that way.
I think that Big Brother has had way more impact.
Get 30 seconds ready. Let our producer go ahead.
All right. I think that Big Brother's had way more of an impact in terms of what you think that impact is. And if you want to look at it on history, I think that it's a negative impact largely, mostly around the Big Brother controversies. Every time that Big Brother has been on TMZ, I think it's made big headlines, whether it be some kind of controversial house guest. And I think that Survivor has largely faded away from people's memories. And I think it had its sort of day in terms of the pop culture back in like 22 years ago.
Thank you very much. So we're going back. Go ahead. Jeff, your rebuttal.
I didn't really hear why Big Brother is so influential. I just heard why Survivor's not. To me, Survivor is still super influential. It's on every week. They do 2 seasons a year. Big Brother couldn't even keep Celebrity Big Brother going. You know,
you're gonna see. You're gonna see. Can I go?
Yep.
Okay. So Celebrity Big Brother will be back next season. They just didn't need it this year to compete with the Olympics, but they'll bring it back. Don't you worry. And Big Brother, I think, has had just way more permeation in the last 10 years than Survivor has. I think Survivor is largely under the radar. I don't think it's on people's minds, whereas I think that Big Brother, in terms of influence and impact, is great.
What I need is a plus and a minus. So a plus for your show, minus for the other show. Each person just 1 point for each, for and against the other show. Okay, so go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, Survivor is a shorter show, so it's done in a short amount of time. You don't need as much of an attention span to watch it. The negative on Big Brother is, it goes forever. It's you really have to keep up with it. You can miss 2 weeks and really not know what's going on. So Survivor is easier that way. You can DVR it and catch up a lot quicker. Big Brother, it's hard to do that.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
Big Brother has been way more relevant in terms of looking at the current day because of the way it's shot. The live feeds give us this more insight into the house, where Survivor doesn't have that. It's more contrived, and those contestants are more polished, and therefore the Big Brother ones are more authentic, and there's more to be learned there. And I think it's more impact on the current day.
Okay, I feel like the assignment was kind of missed. You were getting into the weeds of what was better and not what was influential. Okay, so
I'll take the point then, Jaemeel.
Sorry?
I said I'll take the point then.
As long as you give that point to me.
So that point wouldn't help you because you're out of this round.
I just like to stir the pot.
Okay, go like that. People are not going to like this, but I'm giving the point to Dave.
Yes.
Clean up for Big Brother. All you had to say is I wouldn't even say for Big Brother specifically, for any of you. No one talked about the international versions of the games itself.
You only have 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I think that's your starting point. You use that as your example, and how there's it's been carried on in a multitude of countries, right? And versions.
Well, that's very true. Thank you for making that point.
Stop sucking up. Don't make me want to take away a point.
Wait. I haven't won in a long time.
Okay, we're gonna do wildcard question.
Oh, just for kicks? All right.
Are we just for kicks?
Yeah. Just for kicks.
All right. Just for kicks.
Although it could be a 4-point question.
Oh, okay. So, all right.
Wildcard.
Double point.
What is the best non-competitive reality TV show?
Non-competitive. Okay.
90 Day Fiance.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, 90. It's ridiculous people in ridiculous situations. And what's there not to like? It's basically people from all over the world, or they find each other. I don't know how they find these people, but you're like, how is this happening? It's not a competition. It's just watching people get into these relationships, and you're like, will they get out of it? Will they stay in this? Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But regardless, when you're watching it, there's ridiculous people, and there's endless amounts of things to talk about.
Okay, Dave.
I think that the best non-competitive reality show is Pawn Stars. I think that it has a great showcasing of historical items. There's a vast array of things that come through. I think that it's harder to make reality shows that maybe are a little bit more male focused, and I think that Pawn Stars is a great example of that in the fact that it's more focused on things. I think 90 Day Fiance, in contrast, more maybe focused on relationships and people, which I think is just more done in the reality space, and I think is less unique and interesting.
90 Day Fiance has people watching 90 Day Fiance who used to be on 90 Day Fiance talking about 90 Day Fiance. That's why it's the best knockup. It's ridiculous how, and there's all sorts of deviations off 90 Day Fiance, where they have the single life, 90 Day Fiance, married at first sight, all this kind of different things, and it's something else. Really
when you look at the fame and the power that those Pawn Star guys have gotten on the scene, somewhat for worse, in some examples. Like the impact of that show is immense. That popularity of that show is all there, and it spawned a host of copycat shows like Comic Book.
Okay. Can I get a point for? Can I get 1 point for each of your shows? Just 1 point.
A pro?
Yeah, pro.
It's you get to see the world through a bunch of different people's eyes, because the concept of the show is these people come from different places to want to marry an American, or an American wants to marry them, and you get to see where they go and where they're from.
Okay, Dave.
My show does a great job of teaching you things about the past and learning about all kinds of things. It ties well into history. Plus, it's entertaining, and the characters that come through, and there's business and intrigue and excitement that tie these things all together. And I think that I think Pawn Stars is just a great program.
Okay, Foster, your thoughts
On who's the better choice between these guys?
Sure.
I've never seen 90 Day Fiance, so I can't say.
You're just basing it on the arguments.
On the arguments, Jeff's, because there's zero competition involved. Like there's zero there's zero trying to battle. Like I think, what was it? Sam made a good point in the comments, or Davan is haggling competitive. I think that's because you're trying to reach a goal, right? So
haggling competitive, it's kind of, but it's.
I think it's a good point. 90 Day Fiance, there's no competition. Not trying to beat out another fiance to get married.
Yeah, Davin's already putting his hand up. Wants to get in here.
Okay.
All right.
So I will. So I would not consider haggling competitive, just as begging on 90 Day Fiance isn't competitive either. I think it's the same. Haggling and begging would be aligned, so I'm not gonna take that as a knock or a positive for either one. I feel like Jeff had the stronger argument in the beginning, but Dave, you finished strong. But overall, I don't think you were able to beat Jeff in that regard. Jeff gets that point. Unfortunately,
Not enough.
there was no full points given in that last round, and Dave is our overall winner. Great job, Dave. Great job, contestants. This was not an easy questioning round, and I think that you all really stepped up to the challenge.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, I gotta have my victory music.
Actually, I was going to lead into your victory a little bit more and actually talk about how great of a job you did, but you're not going to get that speech, right? Good job, Jeff. Good job, Foster, for waiting your turns when the host is hosting.
Order.
Okay.
Great job hosting, Jaemeel.
You know what you need? We need a night court.
We need a night court to solve this out.
Okay, so we got to do a little cleanup work here at the end.
Yeah.
Thank everyone for coming in. Follow us on Facebook and on YouTube and also on Twitch as well. We will be introducing an after show eventually. It's coming, so everyone can all their points that they did in the chat will be a little bit more interactive. Now, all links and information can be found in the description. Make sure you check out our other podcasts, Live Long and Podcast. Oh, on the United Federation of Podcasts.
Yep, we got
You
Live
gotta
Long
give me
and
a
Podcast.
chance to get through these things. United Federation of Podcasts. We can get all. What, Murph? United Federation of Podcasts. All right, where you can check out all of our podcasts in our federation, which includes Live Long and Podcast, which is our Star Trek and movie podcast. So please check that out. I'm not going to the divisions that Dave does. That's not happening. Okay.
All right.
We also have the Super Mater Brothers. Oh. Okay. Murph, we got to get on the same page. Super Mater Brothers podcast, which reviews television and reality TV. So you have your Westworld extremely relevant Westworld,
Yeah.
as well as Survivor and Big Brother. Check out the Beatles Get Back documentary. Really good. I really stand back the quality of those shows. I think that is one that you automatically should gravitate to. It's a really good.
And we cover Marvel. Check
series.
out. We'll be doing Ant-Man soon.
Well, no, that is on the Mary Marvel Marching Society podcast, the Mary Mater Marching podcast.
Well, that's over on
Society.
Super Mater Brothers. It's
Yeah,
on
No
the
matter
Super
what,
Mater.
you always say it wrong.
They want you. I'm sorry, David, and sorry, David, how I butchered it.
You're in it too.
Well, I'm more of a guest star,
Okay.
right, or featured guest, I should say. So Ant-Man is coming up next month, so please check that out. But speaking of comic books, you have the Graphics Histories podcast, where where you have deep dives into various artists and writers in comic books, and also a couple personalities. Davin's podcast I'm currently listening to, done wonderfully done by Andre. He is a great host. Check that out. But David and Andre also do X-Rated, the X-Men, the animated review show podcast. It is awesome. They just finished what episode was it? Sanctuary. They're in the 4th season of X-Men, the animated series, and we'll be continuing on when we get to X-Men 97. Awesome show. Check it out. We also have Alex Blackburn and Michael Chan on the Hellbound podcast. It is audio only, but it uses the inside of the mind to present a very compelling show. So please check that out as well. And what's left? Trivial Debates next month. There'll be a new show and a new host. And please check that out.
You missed one
it's gonna be
show.
great. What show did I miss? Yes, KBBL. How could I have missed that? Oh my gosh. Yes, please check this out. Simpsons podcast, Simpsons review show, going through each episode. What's the next episode? Do we know what the next episode is?
I think they're doing Homer's Night Out because it was supposed to be Friday. Sam was asking why. I think that they had to postpone it because I think it was one of the guys, Francis or Baker, couldn't make it. So
yes,
we're
so
both.
please check that out. Really good. Really good. I stand by it 100%. So
And Hold Up.
Hold Up. I missed one as well.
You missed two.
Hold Up. Well, I missed this one now too. Is there another one I missed after Hold Up?
No, you should be good. You should be good.
Hold Up.
Okay, hold up. Okay. So a little.
It is the guiding principle on which stars.
Sorry.
Hold Up is actually my favorite podcast in the network. I love this show. I'm not even on it. It's so good. Please check us out. So they review 3 movies, 2 from pre-90 or pre-2000s and 1 in the current times of 2000 post. And there's a theme for each episode. The next episode is on spies, I believe. Spy thriller.
I think Jody's coming in for that one.
Yes, Jody. So 3 great movies. Usually 2 awesome personalities. So you have North by Northwest, you have Ronin, and you have Atomic Blonde, I believe.
Interesting.
So please check them out. I would also like to give a thanks to the amazing producer, the world mind, Chris Murphy himself. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
for
thank
your
you, Chris.
assistance.
Thanks, especially I messaged him at like 7:30 this morning.
This is so last minute for me. I scrambled so hard to put this together. I did my best.
You did great,
You
man.
did a great job. I appreciate it. Also to our contestants and eventually our winner, thank you very much. The show is only as good as the people who are competing in it, and you all are better than Chris Seymour.
We did it.
That's it for Trivial Debates. Play us out.
Okay, well, let's head on out of here, guys. And where's our theme music when we need it?
I'm dancing for no reason.